implement discipleship in education setting. And we've chosen one school that we could use as a case study. It's called Daniel Generation School. That's where our guests are coming from today. I would love to ask the people from the technical team to play a video of Daniel Generation School so that you may understand a few things about the school, and then we'll have the guests from the school tell us more about themselves and about the school, and more importantly, about the topic of today, which is discipleship in education, or education and discipleship. Thank you. The technical team, if you are ready, please play the video.
Are you searching for a school that combines strong Christian values, academic excellence, and personalized care for every child? Well then, seek no further, and welcome to Daniel Generation School, a place where every child is loved and where their gifts are nurtured. Here, every child is cared for and supported in developing their unique talents. Our nursery and primary sections follow a Cambridge-based educational program taught in 2 languages, English and French. At Daniel Generation School, we place God at the center of everything we do. This is reflected through our daily morning devotions before classes begin, our consistent Bible lessons across sections, and the commitment to helping children grow in Christian values. We encourage all children to think critically, make wise decisions, and use their knowledge to serve others. We teach through engaging activities that allow children to take an active role in their learning. In our nursery section, we use a project-based learning approach, while in primary school, we follow the Cambridge Learner Attributes as reference point, and therefore helping children grow in confidence, develop strong thinking skills, and cultivate a lifelong love for learning. We are very glad to announce that registrations for this academic year 2026-2027 are currently open. To enroll, visit our school website or call us directly on this number. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. If you would like to visit the school campus, we are located in Kagugu, KG 24th Avenue. Join us, and together, let's help children grow in their reverence for God, in knowledge, and in a love for learning.
Thank you. This is Daniel Generation School, and as I've just mentioned, we are privileged to be with 2 guests from the school. I have Mr. Ben and Miss Uwase. Welcome to Staying the Course. How is your Sunday going?
Very well, and so glad we're here, actually.
Yeah, very much welcome. Let me start with Miss Uwase. Tell us more about yourself so that our viewers who are going to have a conversation with you will be able to know a little bit more about you. I'm told ladies first, that's why I'm starting with you.
Yes, please. We appreciate that. All the ladies appreciate that. I am Bakatubia Uwase Merline. I am an early childhood practitioner. I've been working in the field for nearly 6 years now, and yes, I love education. I'm passionate about it, and I'm so pleased to be working at Daniel Generation School currently, where I help build the nursery program. I'm the nursery school coordinator, and for now, I can say it's just amazing to be able to work with children. Yes.
Wow, sounds interesting. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about that. And we are also with Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben, welcome to Staying the Course, TV10.
Thank you very much. My name is Mukama Benald, and I'm very glad that you've hosted me here to discuss education and discipleship. I join you today with 15 years of experience in education.
Wow.
Continuous practice of education, and currently serving as a school principal at Daniel Generation School, a school that is owned, a private school that is owned by Omega Ministries, Omega Church in Kagugu, just on your way to Batsinda. For those of you, our viewers who know Omega Church, Daniel Generation School is sharing the same compound with Omega Church. So we are very glad that we are going to share a lot about education today, and more so from the overview, from the view of Daniel Generation School, also known as DJS. Thank you.
Welcome. 15 years.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Since I'm with educators, let me start with definitions. I am told that when you're preparing your courses, you always start with the definitions. So as I introduced, I said there is so many questions about Christian schools. Lots of parents are always afraid of what their learners are going to learn from school that may affect their lives. And some other think of schools as a place where kids go and they just gain skills and knowledge. And some will argue that discipleship is supposed to actually be done at home. There are so many questions that we're going to discuss today. But before we get into those questions, let us start with basics. Mr. Ben, how would you define discipleship and how would you define education?
Thank you very much, Mr. Vital. I think before even I come to education and discipleship, you've talked about the home, and you've reminded me to talk about, I come here not only as an educationist or as a school principal, but also as a family man. I'm a proud father of 2 beautiful daughters, and when we talk about discipleship and education, I really now, that's why I had to now focus again on the family aspect, because the two can't just be separated. So to come on your question about education, I can say education is the process of acquiring knowledge, skills, and the intellect to that one may need to go through this world. Knowledge and skills is the key factor there. But when it comes to discipleship, it's about shaping the characters, shaping characters, values. So the two may seem to be different, but actually they complete one another. So maybe I would go, that's how I can briefly just define before I can talk about how the two work together actually.
Yeah, but I think for people to understand better the concepts, you could also help us understand how the two go together. Because as I was saying, I think with time, I don't think that the way education was at my time when I was in primary and secondary school is the same way that it is today. And then as far as I remember, for us, character was part and parcel of education, because you were taught by neighbors who know your father and your grandparents and everyone. And at that time, you know, communities like that, every parent in the neighborhood is your parent. So there is a way. I don't think it was that systematic. I think it was more from a culture. So there's a lot of people that when they think of having children and sending them to school, especially with what they see on social media from the West, they are so worried about what their children are going to learn from school. And I think that's one of the leading reasons to why people send their children to Christian schools. So I'm still trying to understand how is discipleship and education related? How do they differ? But more importantly, if I may ask this global question that we're going to keep tackling a bit by bit, how is discipleship implemented in education?
Okay, thank you very much. We are talking about knowledge, skills. Then on the other hand, we have the characters and the values. So, knowledge without characters is, I can compare it to a pilot flying a plane without the navigation system, or you can call it the map. Like it or not, there are high chances of a crash. Even though the pilot might be highly skilled, the engines are working very well, but the navigation system, the compass, let me use the word the compass. Yeah. You know, character and values is the compass that will direct this knowledge that we've got from education. Because education is focusing on knowledge, skills. You get skills, you become a good engineer, you become a good doctor, but you need the compass, the navigation system. These days, our vehicles are having the GPS system that will guide you on how to move. So, when you have the GPS, but you don't have the knowledge, then it means you are not complete. But also when you have the knowledge only, and you don't have the guidance, you have not been shaped, the values, then you are highly to crash. Let me a little bit simplify it. At Daniel Generation School, our motto says, shaping godly characters and futures. We are using the knowledge, the skills. You know, we are implementing the Cambridge curriculum, a very internationally recognized curriculum that is very good when it comes to knowledge and skills. It is a skill-based. So we are saying our children are getting this first-class education system. But after that, they need to have a direction that fears God. Because our intention is to produce leaders and people who respect God in whatever they do. So,
is that why you called it Daniel Generation School?
Very well. Because it is, we are inspired by the Daniel in the Bible. Okay. For our viewers, they know very much the story of Daniel. But what we are looking at is when we are shaping, when we are looking at the futures, because we are shaping godly characters and futures. But the education is preparing a child for the future. But you're giving him knowledge, skills to go and tackle the future. But without discipleship, this knowledge will become a disaster. It will be a timing bomb. There have been a lot of things happening today, especially in this world of technology. You know, technology, everything has an advantage and disadvantage. We are in the world of technological advancement and everything. And children are learning at a very high speed. Artificial intelligence everywhere. I can tell you, if these children are not given the values, the ethics that fear and respect God, that knowledge they are getting today, the knowledge of being able to do everything with artificial intelligence, with this high level of technology, is a timing bomb. Anytime it can blow us. So what we are doing at DGS, Daniel Generation School, is after focusing at their future, giving knowledge and skills, now we look at shaping the godly character in them. So that when a child grows respecting, fearing God, they will, at the same time they have the knowledge and skills that is required in today's world, then they will put those skills to the maximum or to the best use without being a problem to the world today.
Interesting.
Yeah,
one would think a school that has a Cambridge system, you don't need anything else. So I'm wondering if it's not stressful enough to have something to add there as discipleship. But I'll get back to you. Let me first ask Ms. Uwase. This is mainly out of curiosity.
Sure.
Hearing you speak, the accent, the way you explain things and all that, one would ask themselves, why would a young lady, a beautiful lady, smart, from the way you speak, anyone can tell you're smart, Yeah, not go for IT, for some sciences and for all these other things that I'm very sure that you're capable of doing, and go into education that most of us, I mean viewers, a lot of people think it's not a very good paying field.
Yes, I know.
That no one would want to go to, you know.
Yes.
So what motivated you to go into education?
First and foremost, I'm going to take all the compliments. Thank you very much. And I definitely understand why many people see education as not being that much of an attractive profession. One thing I like to tell people is that Jesus was a teacher. From the get-go, Jesus was a teacher. So working in education is less about the job in itself and more about the calling to want to educate. Have you ever looked at people and you just feel like this person could be so much more, but they do not have the tools for it? Have you ever maybe been in an unprivileged neighborhood and just wondered what you could do for these children to send them to school? Well, it's not that school is just a place where, you know, people come and go, and education is not just a field that has nothing to do with other fields. Matter of fact, I'm tempted to say that education is the one we should be banking on as a community, as a country trying to grow. And for me, personally, I find education to be the best place where to start change from. Look at the statistics, do some research, you'll find that countries with a good education system will also have lower rates of employment. They will also have greater civic involvement from the community and so many more. So looking at myself personally, the reason why I chose education as what I wanted to pursue all of my life is because the change we want to bring for our countries, our communities, starts in education. And that's why I'm so passionate about early childhood, to be more specific. The children come to school, the parents have done their part, but the things they get when they're in school, how we encourage them, how we accompany them, that is what shaped them completely. I will agree with what the school principal said earlier. Education is as a compass for multiple people and children more specifically. So yes, in a nutshell, that's what I would say. And the challenges in education, where there is a challenge means a solution can be found. So looking at all the challenges that there are in education, I think it's even more important to continue being in education, because if everybody leaves the sector, then how is the challenges going to be fixed? Yes.
You permit me to ask this question because you just said you agree with the principal, and as I have, gathered, you come from the same school, but I assure you are clever enough, he wouldn't fire you.
Oh, so the question, I'm safe. Praise the
Lord. you can be free. You can tell us about Daniel Generation School without fear. If he fires you, he's the one in the loss.
Yes.
I want to ask you. There is growing up. There's having a passion to do something, and there's being able to do it. A lot of people can go to school. They do education. They come to the schools where they actually wanted to, to do all they have dreamt of doing, to impact children like they have always wanted.
Yes.
And sometimes the environment makes it very difficult. So sometimes the place doesn't just allow you to be that. So imagining that the principal is not here, honestly speaking, how does Daniel Generation School help you become that which you wanted to do? To become, how does Daniel Generation School allow you to bring the impact that you dream of bringing in the early, is it called early childhood development?
Early childhood.
Okay.
Sector, education development, all of them work.
So how does Daniel specifically, and the principal is not here, we assume he's not here. If he fires you because of today's interview, we'll take him to courts.
Okay. I'm going to give you a bit of a backstory, perhaps. I have been there. I have been at a point in my life where I just felt like I'm not going to be able to pursue education anymore. After my first year working in education, as a young person back then, I had this ideal idea of what it was going to be like to work with kids. Just going to come in, you're going to do awesome things, call it a day. And mind you, the reality was very humbling. So I reached a point in my life where I just felt like education was not for me. And I was thinking I'm going to do something else. I have so many skills. I was ready to even be a lawyer, whatever it was, as long as I was not going to stay in education. But again, that was because of certain environments. Working at Daniel Generation School today, I am so pleased to wake up every morning and to come to work, and I'm so ready to do what I'm supposed to do. Because when you find a proper environment, not only does your creativity flow, but also you're no longer just working for the salary, but you're working for the work, if I can call it like that. And being in a Christian environment, I will stress this, being in a Christian environment is so much more different from working in an environment that is not Christian at all. Right, I have managed teams, and I have been working with multiple educators over my career, but at Daniel Generation School, even if the principal was not here, at Daniel Generation School, I have never seen a more dynamic and just enjoyable environment. The reason it is so, it responds to everything I could be looking for in a working environment is that they welcome, number one, creativity. They welcome change. Yes. Sometimes people have this idea of education that it has to fit a certain perfect template, but it's not true, because we work with children who cannot fit a certain specific template. At Daniel Generation School, when we find something that is going to be helpful for the child, again, only for the child, there is freedom to implement it. And that allows it to respond to the children that we have, their needs are met. And another thing, it's created by a church, so Jesus is in the room, and we can never do everything by ourselves. So when we have our morning prayers, when we are involved in the community through some charity events that we've had in the past academic year, it really feels different to work in a Christian school. So I will encourage every child, actually, to be in a Christian school.
Do you know why I asked you that question?
Yes, please.
Partly it's because there's this school I went to.
Yes.
It's not a long time ago. And so I was with other friends, and so we arrived at the reception. Actually, we had already registered.
Okay.
And we were going there for orientation. On the very first day, so we went there, we made it on time. And we couldn't see anyone around, so we just waited. It's recent, I was already an old man. And as we stood there introducing ourselves to each other and, you know, getting to ask ourselves, why did you come to doing this particular course that we were doing and all that? One of the school employees or school, I don't know, staff came around and asked us how we're doing, told how we were doing, and one of the newcomers, complained about something. And the lady, the way she responded, you could already tell that she's not happy in this place. And you know what immediately came in my head? I'm like,
yes, please.
If these people want to leave, why am I coming?
That's a very good question. That's a valid question.
So I think he's very lucky to have one of you, if you were not hyping him, so that he may give you a raise.
Which I would welcome, nonetheless.
I was saying, I think he's very lucky. Even a parent, you want to take your children to teachers who are happy and who enjoy what they're doing.
In fact.
Not bringing my child to Daniel Generation School, and then the teacher is like, these kids come from rich families and we are very poor. They're, you know, showing us and all that. It kind of creates a very toxic environment. So I'm glad you have at the Daniel Generation School. I should have children and bring them, you know, or maybe my uncles or my brothers or my sisters, you know. Mr. Ben, yes. Mr. Principal, I wanted to ask this question. I've learned recently, with the changes in education, that there has been a shift. There's been a shift from the way, as I was just telling you, back in the days when I was still in school, and mainly when I say in school, we're talking about primary and high school. Go at university, you know, you're teaching yourself a little bit. Yes. But back in the days, I didn't even know that it was called so. They had a system that I think they called teacher-centered approach. Okay? I didn't know it was called so, but they explained to me the difference between teacher-centered approach and learner-centered approach. Yeah. I understood there's a difference, and I'm told parents are taking their children to schools where they're implementing learner-centered approach. So I'm curious, how is Daniel Generation School doing vis-a-vis that? Are you behind? Are you ahead? Are you in the middle? And how do you practically do it? Earlier you talked about discipleship, and you talked about the importance of, having discipleship as part and parcel of education. But I also wanted to get to how. So as you tell me about how you implement the learner-centered approach, if you have already started implementing that, also tell us, how do you implement discipleship practically? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Vital. I think, let me start with the child-centered approach of education. As you said, it's true. Back in the days, it was called the knowledge-based approach.
Yes.
So it was all about reading, cramming some facts, and you move on.
All the capital cities of
all
African
the rivers,
nations.
African countries in alphabetical order.
Yeah. So things have now changed.
They have.
And to be specific, at Daniel Generation School, being a Christian school, we draw most of our inspiration from the Bible. And somewhere there is this common verse that says, train up a child in the way that even when they grow, they will not depart from that way. Actually, they didn't say train up children. They talked about a child. And in that Hebrew setting, they were referring to the individual recognition of individual abilities. At DJS, we believe each child is unique.
Yes.
Because each child is unique, we handle each of them separately. And even during our assessments, we assess each of them as an individual. So we are having a lot of activities that help them to grow as individuals, because we believe these children are not meant to grow or learn at the same pace, no, but each of them is meant to achieve a set target or a goal, because we have objectives for each of them. So what we do, we are having many programs, just say like our Fridays. Our Friday is normally a half day. Maybe I'll also talk about why it's a half day. But they're always there before, from morning to 1. And during that time, children are now teaching. They are presenting what they learned throughout the week. They are not, no teacher is teaching. No. They are teaching what they have learned throughout the whole week. And this one makes them own their own learning. They feel they have a duty. Friday they have to present. So learning is now in their reach. They're the owners. In Cambridge we call it engaged. We have the 5 attributes of Cambridge. They are engaged in their own learning. So that is what we are doing with the child-centered approach. Is of course in an international setting is what we are using. But also it's not only just saying child-centered, it should be practical. Yeah, teachers have to give children time to practice what they are learning. Children have to present. Children have to do projects. Actually, it's a project-based learning. Every unit is a project. There are specific activities that each learner has to complete before the end of the unit. And at DJS, we have moved them a step ahead. By now, in every unit, we have a discipleship part also
embedded within
embedded
wow,
in.
that's super interesting.
Because we believe everything on the universe was created by God. And everything that we are going to do, for instance, we are going to do math. We have our theme of the week. And the teacher has prepared according to the theme of the week or the verse of the week. And before every lesson, children have to get that smaller bit. And we believe in those small energies put in each day that rounds. By the end of the term, we have something we have created in these children. Because of, not too big, just 2 minutes. 2 minutes of every day. At the end of the year, you have achieved something really productive. So that's how we are handling the child-centered approach at DGS with the Cambridge curriculum. Maybe you had another question?
No, I think you have answered them, because I was asking how, first of all, do you put in practice the learner-centered approach, but also how do you embed discipleship in there? And I think you've answered that. So yeah. I'm going to ask this from Miss Uwase. You know, he just explained a lot of ways in which you bring in discipleship. Yes. And as far as I understand, you may correct me, but as far as I understand, I think discipleship will go with prayer, with studying the Word of God, with all those kinds of things. And I'm actually wondering, because I'm told, and I'm not just told, I know how kids can find these things to be super boring, especially for you who's actually dealing with little ones. Maybe when they're in P4, P5, P6, somehow they start to... by the way, tell us, which classes do you have at the Daniel Generation School? But also, how do you implement discipleship at those levels and not have children hate you for it?
Well, at Daniel Generation School, we have in the nursery section, all classrooms, nursery 1, nursery 2, and nursery 3. And then in primary level, we are going up to grade 6. In the tiniest classrooms, starting from nursery 1, they do learn about Jesus and what is discipleship. Inherently, discipleship is training a child into something. If you are discipling me, it means you are helping me become somewhat like you. So when we are working with young children, first and foremost, at Daniel Generation School, we understand that children are different, and the teacher who is in charge of delivering these lessons must first keep track of the kind of learners that they have. I am not a child, but if I were to sit in a room where I don't understand what anyone is talking about and no one takes the time to explain it or break it down in a way that I can understand, I would be bored. So it's not just a child thing, it's just how you want people, how you help people grow. So number one, you look into the science behind. I'm not going to bore you guys out, but when you look at how children learn at that stage, when they're 3 years old, when they're 4 years old, it is less about what you are telling them and more about how you are practicing it. So the first thing you need to bank on is the person that child spends the most amount of time with. That's thing number one. You have to make sure that the adult who is conveying these values that we want the children to grow is actually practicing them too, or else it would be a major hypocrisy to want children to be patient, meanwhile the adult is never patient, you know. And also that's how we were taught sometimes, where the teacher would always tell you to be this, to be that, but when you look at them truly, they're not practicing it, so it just feels like they're lying to you. And that's also a challenge when it comes to discipleship, because sometimes the adult wants to preach to a child something that they are not practicing themselves, and it just looks like it's hypocritical, right? So that's step number one. Make sure that the adults in charge of the children is aware of their needs and is practicing what they want to preach. Step number two is now bringing things down. Children learn according to their needs. So those needs are not always the same as they're growing. The needs of a 3-year-old, of a 4-year-old, of a 5-year-old are never the same. So if a 3-year-old needs, they have this need to feel seen, they want to be the center of the attention because they're coming from home and they were the superstar. I do not have children of my own, but I'm sure the principal knows what I mean. They are the superstar.
Especially since he has daughters.
He has 2 of them. He has 2 of them, so they get all the attention. And when they come to school, they expect the same thing. They want to be the attention, except that's not what the Bible preaches, right? The Bible does not preach selfishness. It preaches selflessness. So the child needs attention, but where do you want them to take that attention to? You want them to orient that attention not just on themselves, but to learn to care about other people too. Wow. So the way you deliver that value to every child is not by telling them, hey, you gotta care about other people too, and you stop it there. No, you do activities. Children learn through playing, they learn by doing, so you create activities which will compel the child to be able to do maybe what you want them to do. To be more specific, if you want them to learn to share, you don't just tell them to share. It's not going to work. Spoiler alert, it's not going to work. So how you help them learn to share is that you can tell them about a story of a young child who loved to share and was rewarded in this or that other way. If they have the mental capacity to understand, you bring in a Bible character who shared. You know, when it comes to giving, we have so many examples in the Bible.
I'm already thinking of Tabitha.
Right, Tabitha, indeed. Yes, she shared everything she had, you know. So when you tell them things creatively, again, understanding their needs and their age, it only follows that they convey those values or those things that you want them to practice. And also, and also you need to have a reward system. Children are built in a way that they expect to receive whenever they give, and it's completely normal. They seek recognition, they want to be praised when they do something, and so when you have a rewarding system, particularly in the smaller classes, when you have a tangible, visible reward system, it also encourages them on the process. When you're dealing with older children, 6 years old, maybe 7 if they're still in nursery school, or even if they were 5, you don't do things the same way. For these ones, they're at a stage where they're learning to make friends, so when you give out assignments, exercises, or anything biblical, you are not going to tell them to just sit and listen. It's not going to work. You're going to think about what do they need at this stage, what are the behaviors they show at this stage, and therefore continue right there.
Wow. I think you should teach at the university.
Well, I prefer the youngest.
She just explained, and as she was explaining that, I remembered this theory, you must know, the classical conditioning. I think it goes across all the social, all the educational philosophies, where I think he was a Russian philosopher who would have a way that I think they had some sort of, what do they call it? I don't remember the theory properly, but I remember that there was some rewarding system where I think it starts with stimulus. Remember, like there is this, is it a chimpanzee or what? Or think of a dog.
Are you talking about Pavlov's theory on the dog, where he would like ring a bell each time before giving the dog a treat?
So you know, when we were learning the theory, I left thinking of a dog and meat and all that. I didn't realize that actually practically there is a certain age where children are motivated if you reward them. I wasn't thinking of learners, I was thinking of the dog. That's why I just mentioned that you should teach at university so that we can at least leave the school thinking of children, not dogs, you know? It's quite interesting. But anyway, so this is the question I wanted to ask. You earlier mentioned of a place in which you worked in and didn't sound very Christian. So I'm assuming you must have experienced learners who are not pairing education with discipleship. And the way it sounds, at the Daniel generation, you are seeing learners who are pairing discipleship and education.
Yes.
And I wanted to know the difference, especially I'm asking as a parent. I might not be a believer myself.
Yes.
A Christian necessarily. But I know very many people back in our days who would take their children to Catholic schools when they themselves are not Catholics, but because they knew in Catholic schools they were kind of going to discipline their children,
Yes.
you know. So there is even when a parent is not a believer, but they're looking for a school that kind of you know that's going to provide, yes, the academic excellence, but which is also going to tackle on the character. And I'm trying to figure out, as a parent,
Yes.
I'm trying to understand the difference between someone who goes to a school that, you know, teaches discipline through you know, other means, and a school that teaches discipline or character through discipleship. So what do you see as a difference between schools that are pairing education with discipleship and schools that are, you know, just training the skills and knowledge, as the principal said earlier?
And summed up in one word, I'm going to say egocentrism. You know, when the child is in an environment where they're told they're the greatest, they're the smartest, they can be everything they want to be, it does not really give them the ability to be able to think of others too. And I believe that's the most, I'm going to say, defining difference between education without discipleship and education with discipleship. When you are trying to do education with discipleship, you do not focus on you as a teacher, you do not focus on maybe the course material, but you focus on something much greater, which is the Bible and God. When you look through the Bible, you are going to see that it calls people to love. It calls people to give. It calls people to be patient, to be kind, and all of these different things. So how the child is going to be kind when they grow up, it really depends on maybe their career, their profession, and other defining factors, but they cannot do that if they've not been discipled to. So when you are in a classroom and you are orienting children towards the greater good, which is serving God ultimately, you are kind of giving them a resource that can never run out. You know, you're giving them a resource that does not run out. And also, it's so helpful to tell children that everything is possible, indeed, but everything is possible through Christ who strengthens us.
Wow.
Schools without a environment where I've worked, yes, school without a discipleship program only stop there. And everything is possible indeed. The worst atrocities are possible, and also the best outcomes are also possible. And so as an education paired with discipleship does not just stop right there. It kind of pushes the children to think even further. So in a nutshell, that's what I would say about the difference between schools with discipleship and the schools without.
You know, Mr. Principal, when you were speaking earlier, you reminded me of these people that are called activists.
Oh, yes.
I think I'm going to start an activism on behalf of teachers, because the way the learner-centered approach sounded. Did you hear him say that every learner is evaluated in their, like they are evaluated personally? I'm already kind of thinking how that must be tough for educators. So, and that's where my question is going to be. What are the current, leave that alone, that was me, you know, but maybe it's part of it. What are some of the challenges that educators and education in general is facing nowadays? And how should people handle them? Maybe today we kind of spoke on behalf of parents and learners, and I don't want us to forget about the other key and important people in the sector who are teachers. Yes. So as an educator for the past 15 years, and as a principal who is working with educators every day, and you yourself is an educator, you lead them, you guide them, you have a team. What are some of the challenges that teachers, educators, facilitators are facing today? And what is the best way to navigate them? Maybe there's another principal who's watching you, who's trying to figure out how to solve some of these issues, who might, you know, learn a thing or two from you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Vital. I think one of the biggest challenge that educators might be facing is the expectation from the community.
Yes.
You know, the community, what do people expect? People want that their children, for instance, I was telling you about how we assess learners and how we believe each learner is unique. But always, they'll ask, which position is this learner in the class? Mm-hmm. For us as educators, we don't find that question valid.
Seriously?
Yes.
So I want to know if my teacher, if my kid, my child is number one or number last. And
yes.
I want to have a chance to brag on them, to brag to them how I used to be number one.
Seriously, it's not valid. Mm-hmm. Because if I have 20 kids in 20 learners in my class, for us as educators, we look at many things, especially like for the children who are coming in 3 years. They have, those first 3 years, they have had different and unique experiences, environment. We have a child who was born at 7 months. We have another one who spent like a lot of months in those machines in the hospital. We have another one who has had nutrition issues. We have a lot of, we have others who are on medication. So, because of that background, unique background for every child, their way of learning is different. Mm-hmm. That's why you'll find another child speaking at 2 years, another one speaking at 5 years. One time I had a child, it has been some years back, but one time there is a school where I had a child who actually started speaking at 8 years.
What?
Yes. 8. You
know, back nowadays, they would have already declared you what? I don't know.
Wordless, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, many people will say it's dumb, and but as educators, we would see signs that show that it's just delayed speech.
Yes.
So, when you want me to compare a child with delayed speech with a child who has started speaking at 2 years, others even start actually constructing meaningful words even below 2 years. So that's why we, what the public, what people think is actually not what educators have. And so it's sometimes to create some pressure and what have you. And to make it worse, we even have school leaders or school owners or who do not understand that actually children are unique. And that's the beauty with Cambridge that we are implementing.
Isn't it too expensive though?
Cambridge is not expensive, my dear. It's just, of course there is value. Mm-hmm. There is value. One time, there's a friend of mine who was teaching us how that when you go to buy when you go to buy sand, they cannot ask you how many kilograms you want. But when you go to buy sugar, they will ask you how many kilograms you want. And it's different when you go to buy gold. They may ask you grams, how many grams you want.
Yes.
For us who buy gold, in the case of rings and what have you, they ask you how many grams. So the value, of course,
let me allow me to cut you short and ask you specifically. I know you people always avoid the question of how much. So I'm going to play a little game with you. Yes. At Daniel Generation School, and I'll put there in ranges. Someone will think of Cambridge, I don't know, me personally just thinking out loud, I would think Cambridge system is probably charging, I don't know, is it like between 5 to 10 million a term? Is that where Daniel Generation School is?
Oh, not even close to that.
Not even near. Not even
okay,
near.
So 1 to 2 million?
Actually below
1 million?
Yeah, below 1 million.
Seriously?
Yes.
Per term?
Per term. And the child will get the best
So it's below 1 million?
Yes.
I have below 1 million per term, and I can come and bring my child to Daniel Generation School, and your Cambridge system is genuine?
Extremely genuine. When you reach the actually, I encourage our viewers, those who to pay a visit. You pay a visit and see the facilities, you see our educators. We have sourced some of the best educators across the East African region, from Uganda, from Kenya, from the neighboring Burundi, from the neighboring DRC, from Rwanda.
You have all that?
Yes.
Your team is made up of all those people?
Yeah. So we've tried to source the best educators you can imagine.
Have a child next year.
Please.
The best educators you can imagine of. And we have got the resources, the best resources that match the current expectation, the current standards. Let it be in every aspect when it comes to the well-being of our learners, very safe environment, balanced and healthy meals. So it's not actually Daniel Generation School is not a profit organization. It's not. It is it's a community-based company,
okay,
whereby even the little that comes from there is meant to benefit the community where we're working. It's not
money-making
institution.
Interesting.
And we are just charging what's enough to provide that high quality education, high quality environment, and really whoever can reach our campus can just really come out testifying.
Thank you so much. Okay.
I can add on to
and try to make it very short. I'm almost out of time.
Oh yes, we'll be very brief. Yes, to add on to what the principal just said, it is true that sometimes we associate good service with very expensive pricing. And one of the things I love about Daniel Generation School is that we didn't let the financial gap stop us. Again, if you know that every child is equally worthy, regardless of their background, regardless of maybe how fast they talked or how fast they walked, the way you treat them is diametrically different from where you have this idea that, oh, we're only going to take rich kids. Then it means that you're not giving value. So it beats the purpose of individuality, right? And if I can say something about the challenges that as a school, many schools face, even like the ones the principal just mentioned, one of them is also involvement from parents. And I think that is the decisive idea, because people will spend all the money they have on the child's education, enrolling them in maybe the best school, but they might not actually continue looking through the school and wondering whether the education my child is receiving actually fits what I want them, or how the parent envisions they should grow as they keep going. So paying a lot of money does not guarantee the quality of education, and also paying just enough, like the prices that we have at DGS, does not also guarantee that the child is going to have a bad education. So I hope one of these days we can maybe lift the veil on how actually impactful education is compared to pricing.
Wow, that's good. So in that short time, just like you have been brief on challenges and on the additional comments you wanted to make, what would be your, because we're coming to the end of our conversation and I wanted to hear your thoughts to parents and to learners who are now starting a grand vacation. Because as we speak right now, we're talking about education and all that, but schools have closed recently. Yes, they have. And how do you propose, I mean, what's your message to young people who are now in vacations? How should they spend it? How should teachers, you know, use this opportunity that now that the children are coming home? And sometimes children are coming home because they're in vacation, but the parents are still working. I mean, so what's your message to them as an educator who is looking at both of them? And that same question will go to Mr. Ben. You try to make it as brief as you can.
If I could make it as brief as I possibly could, I'm going to speak from the standpoint of a program coordinator, is that I encourage everyone to really dig deep into what education truly is, because we live in an era where information is all over the place. It's so easy to access information, and for that reason, educators, parents, the community kind of have these ideas about children that I am really hoping that we can come clean about. Some ideas and misconceptions, such as maybe female children are this way, or children are this way, children cannot learn something, and stuff like that. I would really encourage people to try to do the research. I'm gonna say do the research. Don't trust just small clips that we see online, but do the research, inform yourself about what children need, inform yourself, also talk to your children. I know parents are busy, and it should not undermine the effort that they put into getting to know the children. So my advice is to parents, spend time with your children, get to know what stage they are at, use this time to accompany them during the holidays. Educators, inform yourself, help these children and consider them each separately, and the community, back it up.
How about the children themselves?
The children themselves. If I speak for the youngest, I would just encourage them to continue being blissful and wonderful.
No, I'm talking about teens, let's say teens.
Oh, the teens!
Who are thinking of what to do with this, this 3 months. Is it 3 months? Is it 2 months? I don't know.
There's 2 months. I would highly ask them to just take 4 weeks off and join our summer program, because we are doing a summer camp at Daniel Generation School. And if I can say, I would say it's the best way to spend 4 weeks during this summer. Children will be, of course, learning about Jesus, the Bible, and everything, but also having fun. They have worked during the whole academic year, and 2 months would be a good time for them to also rest. And yes, so there is more detail about the summer program on our website. They can call the number of the school directly, and if I were
What's the number of the school, if you have it?
I do not have it from the top of my head, but perhaps...
Is it in the other video?
Yes, it is. At the end.
We will play the video again so that people can see the number.
So that's what I would recommend everybody.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Ben, in less than 1 minute, what is your message to parents and to teachers and to learners as they start this summer vacation?
Thank you very much. I think one of the challenges that children or parents are having today is the screen time. Yes. Parents have to find a way of limiting the screen time for the children. You know, when a child spends much time on screen, they are overstimulated and they lose a lot. So, like at DJs, we've come up with, like my colleague has just talked about, the Summer with Jesus program. It's a summer camp that will run for 4 weeks from the 13th of July to the 7th of August. 4 weeks out of the 8 weeks that we are having in this holiday. At least you are sure the child will be occupied with educators, will be mentored, will learn a new skill, and will spend time with people who can provide a safe environment for them, other than waking up, have breakfast and start watching until the time you come back from work. Because what else could they do? So that's what I can say for now. And if you cannot join our Summer with Jesus program, maybe you are far, I know there might be other camps in your neighborhood. It's better you enroll your child in a camp that you trust, where they can help them develop some skills, provide a safe environment for them, and help them grow, both physically, spiritually, and academically.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us tonight. I wanted to request the technical team to play the video again, and we will conclude from there. I will come back to say a few words after the video. If you have the video, please play it.
Are you searching for a school that combines strong Christian values, academic excellence, and personalized care for every child? Well then, seek no further, and welcome to Daniel Generation School, a place where every child is loved and where their gifts are nurtured. Here, Every child is cared for and supported in developing their unique talents. Our nursery and primary sections follow a Cambridge-based educational program taught in 2 languages, English and French. At Daniel Generation School, we place God at the center of everything we do. This is reflected through our daily morning devotions before classes begin, our consistent Bible lessons across sections, and the commitment to helping children grow in Christian values. We encourage all children to think critically, make wise decisions, and use their knowledge to serve others. We teach through engaging activities that allow children to take an active role in their learning. In our nursery section, we use a project-based learning approach, while in primary school, we follow the Cambridge Learner Attributes as reference point, and therefore helping children grow in confidence, develop strong thinking skills, and cultivate a lifelong love for learning. We are very glad to announce that registrations for this academic year 2026-2027 are currently open. To enroll, visit our school website or call us directly on this number. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. If you would like to visit the school campus, we are located in Kagugu, KG 24th Avenue. Join us, and together, let's help children grow in their reverence for God, in knowledge, and in a love for learning.
We're with Daniel Generation School. It's a Christian school that is that's been founded by Omega Ministries, and it's located in Kagugu. And we are discussing about discipleship in education. I've been privileged to have 2 guests that I thank very, very much. This conversation is Staying the Course. It's empowered by Christ for the Nations Ministries, and I was your host. I'm Muvunyi. Have a great evening.